Okay. Mic check, mic check.
My check.
All right, right now, this is where it lives. On the Know It All stage, we are live streaming. Vivek, uh, he is in downtown Springfield, Ohio, at the City Hall. And the closing statement, too. Look at my counselor. Apologize for the lag here. Hmm. Hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
We're gonna get into all of that was Vivek down at City Hall in Springfield, Ohio. They're ending the stream here. This was being streamed live through Fox and uh, CNN currently. So, yeah, this is again a blackout stream that I'm going to be doing on this page a little bit more. It cuts through the editing process and it's just live and straight and direct to the viewers. If you know, it'd be ideal if people join the chat. But also, I'll upload this on the page as well. I have a guest in the house with me, sitting here to my left. I have formerly known on his pages and stuff as a Conscious Lamb, right?
Yes, sir.
Now we're working on a rebrand, I believe.
Yep, I'm doing some work behind the scenes. I gotta say, it's an honor. It's an honor to be on here, man. I've watched for a couple years now, and honestly, I've waited for this. I've waited to be on here. It's exciting.
All right, don't
So,
all right, stop your tears.
my bad.
Stop your tears. So you want to sit? You might have to sit just a little bit closer to the mic here. Apologies. Here we're getting it worked out.
Gotta get settled.
Yeah. So at the end here, Vivek touched on the last person that took the last question made mention of the fact that he enjoys pets and, he loves cats and dogs, but how dare the conversation be steered um, regarding Springfield in Ohio when there's, over 400 or 300,000 cases of missing people, children, as children, which was a great point. And we did not know that that guy was going to bring that up. It's kind of like, a universe thing here because there's a whole slate of topics that we are going to tackle today that kind of mirror some of his sentiments. So, Lane, what did you kind of think about Vivek's address to the city?
I thought it was pretty interesting, and I'm appreciative that he came out. He made the journey out here. I think that something definitely has to be done in terms of our youth, and I was glad that that question came up. And the question before that also, with the kids in the classrooms,
Yes, yeah.
talking to these people's kids all day,
Yes.
and it's a whole different perspective I didn't think about until the question. But just to go back to him, I really thought. I don't know. I think he held the room well, but I don't know.
It's politics, right?
Yeah, it's politics.
It's
It
politics.
seems kind of glamorous. It seems nice when they say certain things, but I don't know. I really want some answers right now.
Yeah.
I can't say I walked away with.
Yeah. So for me, and I don't want to cut you off. For me, and I know pretty much just in talking to you personally and stuff a lot, it's going to be hard realistically, because on this platform, we want to just again give it to you guys live and direct, cut and dry. Um, for me, and I think you share some of these same sentiments, it's going to be hard for a politician to really strike a chord. You read a lot of philosophy. I mean, people that really dig deep into these things. So politicians to me always seem more ponds, surface level,
Empty, just
empty,
I can't describe it.
moderated, scripted, things like that. Especially if you're somebody that reads a lot and journals,
Very much into
psychology, you're going to find a lot of these things empty. So, I mean, to answer my own question that I threw to you, I thought, now we only caught the tail end of the stream. I was watching the stream earlier, but obviously on the channel I didn't have it up. But he took a lot of questions, and there's a lot of controversy, obviously surrounding the city in Springfield with the influx of the Haitian migrants, the cats and dogs statements, and I think it's a good gesture for him to come down. Donald Trump had requested, or mentioned that he would be coming to town. It was met with not so well responses, so that's delayed. But he went again today and doubled down, I think just today, and said that he will be making an appearance in Springfield and then Colorado, which the Venezuela, they're calling them Venezuela gang or whatever, over down in Colorado. Right. That situation going on there. So he's trying to clean up shop and go to these cities. Springfield being the talk of the nation right now, and then Colorado as well. So a good gesture. It's good to see these town hall meetings and people kind of conversing and trying to get ideas out. A takeaway that I had, and I'm going to throw it to you, Lane, as somebody who's a father. Let me put on my glasses. It's getting ready to get messy. Are we ready as a country to find out how sick we really are? Hold on. You brought up, I talked about the guy's last question, and then you so eloquently reminded me of the lady before's question. And what did she talk about?
She talked about the children's perspective of our current situation.
I just need you to stop there. The children. So that's two people. The last two questions were about the children. Very interesting that being the case. You being a father, man, what are we doing to our kids? Let's start there. Like, what are we doing? What world are we creating for these children?
I feel like the unwarranted trauma that these kids are going through right now through the school system, at home, hate, like she mentioned, also social media. Social media is, basically running like the devil, and I can't disagree. You know, so I feel like we so often as parents we think we do what's best for these kids, but we so often miss the little moments that leave a traumatic scar on a child and a child's perspective. And so many of these old beliefs are what has kept this problem, reoccurring problems arise. And it's just, we brush up on it, we talk about it, but it's, like we talked about the politicians, a lot of it's empty, a lot of it's just glamorized talk. And similar to the city, I'm interested to see how the dust settles. I want to see real results. I want to see what really transpires here.
Now, I can't be the only one that remembers that. Just newsflash to people. Shout out to the viewer in the room. Identify yourself if you feel, comfortable doing that. We got a couple viewers in the room. Shout out to you guys. Go ahead, hit the chat, like and subscribe. Please share. I got Lane here, formerly known as the Conscious Lamb, working on a rebrand. This is Lord of Lips on the Know It Alls channel. Shout out to everybody joining the chat. We were just talking about Vivek being in downtown Springfield. We live streamed some of the event. The last two questions that he was given was about the children. One mentioned about the human trafficking situation, and then the other was basically this, psychological damage that we are imprinting on our children. I wanted to say, does anybody else remember, am I crazy in saying that back in 2017, 2018, Haitians were here? And not only were they here, but people started a rumor that, do you remember the van thing, the white vans and following people in Walmart?
Yep, well documented for sure.
So that happened, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like I said, this is a reoccurring problem. This is not new, slap a new face on it, new situation on it, but this is a reoccurring problem.
And I'm just highlighting that to say, I don't know, man. I'm usually good at putting my hands on things and putting together a puzzle. That's one of my good traits. And to me, a lot of things in the last 4 or 5 years have been around trafficking, human trafficking. If you look deep into things, and we're going to cover Diddy, we're going to cover a lot of things, but I just got to come out and say it, man. The homie review says they was taking those kids, period. Come on, man. Don't. Yeah. I'm not saying they were. Obviously, I mean, we don't have no official reports that they were. But I have a father in the room, and like me and him have talked off the air about personal things, personal traumatic experiences and stuff like that. And I just feel like the floodgates have opened up for an ugly, ugly, ugly truth on this planet. And
it's going to come to light.
You know what I'm hitting at. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm hitting at. This pedophilia thing, guys, is not going anywhere. We talked about on my last episode that they called it minor persons attracted syndrome. So they've already tried to, issue this a part of. They've even tried to make that a part of like the LGBTQ plus community. Unreal. That there's now minor attracted person disorder or something like that, to where there's people. Yeah, I told you P. Diddy was done years ago. You did. And there's somebody else that you told me was done that is part of the twin dragons of the Black Billionaires Club. We'll get to him soon. You know who the other person is.
A lot to cover.
But this pedophilia thing, guys, I just want everybody to keep an eye on this because it's not going anywhere. Again, on my last stream, and I know you share the same sentiment, I will go to my deathbed. I will go to my deathbed fighting to not normalize the shit that they're trying to normalize. I'm telling you, These people are trying to normalize. We had the Pope, the Catholic Pope earlier, either this year, I think early this year, that it came out that he was touching those little boys. And then, we just got a stream of these things with pedophilia. And I'm just here to tell y'all that a lot of stuff in the industry and a lot of stuff in the entertainment industry, Hollywood, celebrities and stuff. I mean, we grew up hearing these rumors about, blood sacrifices and sex, parties and stuff like that. But like, we're in 2024 now, and the veil is being unsealed. Cat Williams, shout out to Mr. Cat Williams.
He started the year.
He told us all will be revealed. And I almost think it's too much for us to drink. Go ahead and jump in.
I think it's ignored. We talked about ripping the Band-Aid off, right? Really exposing how sick are we as a nation. And I think it's been just so ignored. You spoke on they're trying to normalize this. And I argue that this was a normal thing. That's how sick we were for generations. This was a normal thing. Like, we're trying to change thought patterns. We don't even want to address it like that. If we're not going to address the cat in the room, it's not going to happen. And that's the bottom line. So
that's a good fucking point, man. That's a good point. I keep referencing my last episode because I covered a lot of this, but I threw you guys a question out there last week that, I mean, we call it pedophilia. And that's just, it's such a fine lens because, again, in different cultures, it's not looked at like that. And there's African cultures. Again, I threw you guys the question, the old ancient question, the philosophy question. We know prophets in the Bible. Damn near all the prophets in the Bibles took on wives that were 12. Muhammad took on wives that were 9, 14, and like, how do we feel about that? So what are you, so are you saying that marriages in the Bible are what exactly? Again, good point, Hunter. That's what I'm saying. Like, how Lane said it, like, in Western civilization in the last 100 years, we've kind of scaled back, the age range and the age of consent and stuff like that, those things. But like, from a psychological, and again, I'm not going to sit here and normalize pedophilia. I don't think a grown man should be with a little girl, period, point blank. Absolutely. However, we do got to address the elephant in the room, like he said. Edgar Allan Poe, he married a 14-year-old. Just Elvis. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. Back in the day, older men dating these younger women. So again, it's a slippery slope on how we believe, how we graduate as a society and as a culture. Now, there's a difference between that, because I mentioned in my last episode that, biblically and stuff like that, religiously, if you really get into the religious texts and stuff like that, taking on a wife and stuff doesn't necessarily mean, and the word virgin, then it's two contrasting ideas. Virgin back then meant you never been had by a man, you weren't married. Today, it just means you weren't eloped, not eloped, but you haven't had, sex with a man. So again, different meanings, but again, how do we feel about prophets and religious leaders and stuff like that, and their place in history when they got what we would consider acts of pedophilia today? It's a tough subject.
Yeah, it's all a tough subject. And I mean, it just, again, it points you at the ugly social norms. What are people willing to accept in their time period? The times say that one thing is okay, and, you can pretend that that's morally okay, but you do have to pay for all of those sins that you ignored, that you were quiet about. So it's a tough situation. I mean, and we're not necessarily going to win. Like, the kids, I keep going back to these children. It's all about the babies, man. The babies are not going to win. And I just feel like they're not even on the forefront. They're not even, really at center stage right now.
And I will say, I can't get down with this, but I do just want to say that in Eastern cultures and stuff like that, the way these women are reared, they're reared for a husband, like in a lot of African cultures, Middle Eastern cultures, and stuff like that. When their daughters are coming up, the man and even the mother and stuff is rearing that daughter for marriage. Indian culture as well. You know, now granted they don't give their daughter off into marriage until she's of age, but in their culture and stuff like that, it is marriage is a business. It's a contract.
Right.
They take dowries and stuff like that. They take payments for marriage and stuff like that. So these women, like Aisha in the Bible, Muhammad's wife and stuff like that, for example, she was reared for him and she was geared for him. Like that, she grew her 14 years was based around learning how to be a wife. You see what I'm saying? So that so again, a 12-year-old in our society, in Western society over in America, is totally different than a 12, 14-year-old in their society.
Yeah.
Fair point. Again, from a science aspect, I mean, I can't get down with it, but there's also to be said that, biologically, a woman, starts her cycle and stuff like that. So is that God or nature's way of telling humankind that she actually is ready for?
Yeah, I don't know. That's all.
Because that's how animals are,
Yeah, that's all up for debate and interpretation.
It is. It is. You look at animals, you look at the animal kingdom and stuff. As soon as a lioness is ready to mate and has cycles and able to, they have children. So again, like he said, it's all kind of your beliefs and philosophy. However, I do not want to shortchange the fact that they're trying to normalize this pedophilia thing. Not going to happen, right?
Yeah, we can't. I mean, we can't go for it. They've been trying to expose the industry slowly. I mean, it's way deeper than just the industry, but we are so much, especially in our first world country, comfort, so much of our eyes are just on that mainstream media. So, we have to look for our quote unquote.
Now, do you believe that they're trying to normalize this because they know that the curtain is getting ready? Here's I should throw it to you. I don't want to intrude. Do you believe that they're trying to normalize this pedophilia thing because their asses is about to get caught with it?
I mean, it only makes sense. It only makes sense that is the fact of what's going on. I mean, we've been, we heard about the Epstein list. We've been waiting for how long for that? We've known since how long that Diddy's been up to his business. And I mean, it goes on and on. We've known about Elvis and there's tons of, we can go on and on about that. But the fact is that something's up. We are now at an open point. The internet is open. Anybody can jump on a live.
Yep.
The information is out there. We're in the age of information.
Yep.
The hat's out the bag. I mean, it's coming.
Yep. I agree. And I totally believe 100% that's exactly what's happening. You got to remember that media is controlled by a few people. And these few people that control the media, in fact, the Rothschilds, when they set up the banking institutions and the federal banking reserve system and stuff, they were quoted as to say, we don't care who controls the politics as long as we control the money, and the money controls the media. Okay. If people can censor things and use propaganda and, steer and program you to believe things through media, media is the most powerful tool on this planet. It's not money. Money is very, 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 very powerful. Yes. But money is only as powerful as the media has programmed it to be. Without the programming, money wouldn't be as powerful. Yes, it has its own economy system. Yes, it has economic value and stuff like that. But so doesn't gold. So doesn't silver. So doesn't work. He could trade labor for labor. Those things have value as well, but they're not as powerful as money because we've been conditioned to believe that there's no power in those things. So I say that to say it is not a coincidence that all of these veils are being uncovered. We start really, with, this stems back, like he said, it stems back further, but you could trace this back way further. We could start, give me any point. You can start
anywhere.
You can start with Michael Jackson's situation. The accuser of Michael Jackson, which again, you guys know, I totally do not believe he had any involvement in certain things. Tupac was accused of sexual assault. The list goes on and on with celebrities, but then let's just go ahead. Our starting point with Mr. Robert Kelly, who's facing 30 years in federal, prison. And then you got, after R. Kelly, simultaneously that same period, you get Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, and his wife Max Gazelle, and who's in prison currently. And we were supposed to be given this list at the top of the year. It came out in December of last year. They released the files, but they had the John Does, and they didn't unseal the actual names. They just said John Doe 1, John Doe 2, so forth, so forth. And they said at the top of the year, at the beginning of the year, we would get the files released. We never got them released. Well, what happened shortly after that? Well, go figure. I'll be damned. In March, we get the Diddy thing. Why do I bring this up? Because the people, again, that control the media, usually look at them doing this scapegoat. I'm not absolving Diddy. I don't know how you feel. I'll get your thoughts on it. I'm not absolving Diddy of any crime that he may have committed. I want any person that has committed any heinous crime like that to go to jail, if not worse. However, I'm just saying they can't feed me these things in spite of what the list. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I say it once a week, where I'm not somebody that forgets these things. Y'all can shove a lot of different shit. Y'all started a rap. I'm not stupid. Y'all started a rap civil war. Clive Davis just stepped down. Lucien Grange, these CEOs of Universal and these entertainment industry, Disney and stuff like that. You guys are all in cahoots with each other because you guys are on the list, and you guys cause Kendrick and Drake to be in Future and Metro versus Drake and 21. I know this game. In fact, y'all did it with P. Diddy, Bad Boys versus Death Row, and Tupac and them. And then y'all set that whole thing up. And now Suge Knight's in prison, and Biggie's dead, and Tupac's dead. Same old wicked people.
We can execute Diddy, but we got to get the list. We need all of them.
We need the list. And go ahead.
We got former presidents potentially on the list. We got current president on the list potentially.
Newscasters.
When we're talking about building our country, we want to make America great again. We want to do things we've never done as a nation. If we're really trying to build this thing up, we're trying to save it, whatever you want to do, you got to get all this out in the light. You got to get the truth first. The truth will set you free. There is no way that we can continue to try to build this country on a terrible stack of cards. It doesn't. It's not architecturally gonna happen.
They're not trying to give us the list until it's normalized. They're gonna throw. We can't let that happen. No, they're gonna scapegoat another person and another person and another person. To me, is it coincidence to y'all that we get the Diddy news in March and then the Kendrick beef in April? And what's the big takeaway from the Kendrick and Drake beef, guys? What's the big takeaway? Not that Kendrick won or Drake won. What's the big takeaway?
He painted that man as a pedophile on the biggest stage of the world. The biggest stage
of
the world.
Is this all coincidence to people?
I would say there's no way. There's no way possible.
This isn't all coincidence, guys.
And it started with Cat. He said there was some fishy stuff going on. He said it's all coming out this year. And slowly but surely, here we are in, what is this, September?
Yes.
Halfway through September. Oh my gosh. They always say election years are wild.
They are.
Here we are. We got 50 days until election.
Yep.
I can only imagine.
Yep.
But right now it's in our face. We are firsthand witnesses. It is in my city. There is sniper towers at my high school, downtown my city. Like I don't know.
Yeah, and
I got a whole lot to say, but
well, that's why we got this platform, because there's just a few platforms left. Oh, great. Let me mute. But yeah, I mean, it's no coincidence that on the biggest stage we got the two biggest acts going at it, and one is slanging the word pedophilia out. Not only has he done that, but he's tripled down on it a couple times in different records. And I kind of wanted to briefly touch on that. That it's kind of been glossed over, but it was first brought up in we get Euphoria. We get Euphoria. And if you guys remember when Euphoria first dropped the cover, everybody dissected the cover. It had Euphoria, which is a teenage show that was produced by Drake, co-produced by Drake. And it has a lot of sexual innuendos with teenage people in it. That's what the show is based off of. And then, Kendrick makes reference in the song. There's a few lines in there that you can kind of point to where the angle that he might have been taken. But he issued it as a warning saying, hey, if you do this, I'll do this. If you don't do this, I don't do that. Then we get 616 in LA. 616 in LA. 616 in LA, Kendrick mentions something called KTW. And the KTW, was not, if you look on Rap Genius, people could not figure out what the reference is with the KTW. Now, in further investigation, other people have done further investigation. There's Reddit pages and stuff on this, that KTW is actually a modeling agency that kind of guises as a sex trafficking agency out in London. And that's where Kendrick kind of mentioned KTW. Know the wires in your circle should puzzle you. And then we get that night, we get Family Matters. And then after Family Matters, 20 minutes later, we get Meet the Grams. Now, in Meet the Grams, this is when it first started to click to me. Well, for me, I knew, and you could, I got previous videos on this channel where I kind of talked before they even shot these records off. When Like That verse came out, I shot videos. I got videos out there, and I told people the angle Kendrick was going to take. Everybody acting like this is some big secret or some big surprise. The whole Drake pedophilia angle, they have not been paying attention for the last 5 years. To me, it was a shoe, and I knew he was going to take that angle. I also thought that Mr. Lamar was going to take a anti-Semitic angle, which I'm glad he did not. But I figured he would if he had
touched
to.
It.
Yeah. But in Meet the Grams, Kendrick references the Cat Williams interview. Cat Williams had giving you guys the truth. Well, I'm gonna give mine. The NBC is about to get rated too. It's only a matter of time. Hey, LeBron, keep the family away. Curry, keep the family away. Anybody that loves their kids, keep the family away. He also said that, he said that Drake keeps sex offenders on his OVO allowance, and that he was looking to shoot through any pervert that lives. So this is the angle. This is Kendrick's setup. This is his left hook, his left jab. Then after that, so that's Friday night. Saturday morning comes and we get, and I'm actually at Lane's house, by the way. Lane actually has the video of me, the first live reaction to They Not Like Us. I don't know if you still got it in your phone.
I have to look for it. I'm not sure.
But I was actually at his house when They Not Like Us dropped. Random Sunday. It was a Sunday. Pardon me. It was a Sunday, midday, 4 or 5 o'clock, and They Not Like Us drops. When it first drops, again, if you remember, the cover art with the pins on the house blew the internet up. My gosh. It blew the internet up. People were, when they figured out what that meant, they were like, what the fuck? So again, another angle that Kendrick took where it was about pedophilia. And I'm thinking, interesting. Then you get into the narrative of the song, and it's really a stranger danger anthem.
Yeah, I mean, he made an anthem to get everybody's ears, to get the hits, and all that. But his message is so direct. I mean, you could take it for Drake, but looking at his next track, he's jumped Drake. He's exposing everybody. He might be coming for everybody's head.
Well, that's exactly right. I keep having these lives, and I'm going to continue to let you guys know that. So we get They Not Like Us. Drake does 100 gigs all summer. He's trying to throw shit at a wall, trying to see what sticks. Drake is really, and his team is really trying to do a cleanup campaign because Kendrick actually did sustainable damage to Drake's image. And, we got the Pusha T thing, but that was just hip hop. That did some damage. It ruined some deals, Adidas deals and stuff like that with the child exposure and stuff. But Kendrick did some sustainable damage to Drake and his career. So what does Kendrick do? Just last week, in fact, last Thursday, he gives us Untitled. Watch the Party Die is what people are naming it. And
on his Instagram.
And it's a cover of Black Forces, which means, in Ebonics or in our culture, it stands for standing on business. Yep. That means you standing on. We know people with Black Forces, they stand on business.
And they were roughed up.
Man. So this was Kendrick's way of saying, I'm not done, essentially.
Yep.
I'm standing on business. And no, it was not a direct Drake diss. But what is to be taken away from this, guys, is the fact that he's taken a Nas approach. He talks about destroying and rebuild to create a new earth. He talks about killing the party today so the children can live tomorrow. And it's these lines to me that stand out in this song because, again, if you tie it into the rest of his narrative arc with these diss songs he reached, it tells me that he's coming to a crescendo on his new album, or he's working on something to where me and Lane have been saying it all summer. This is his Machiavelli year. And what we mean by that is you guys should go out, do your due diligence and do your research on why people say Pac 96. Because Pac in 96 was on a warpath.
He was on an absolute tear.
He was on a warpath, not just musically, not just artistically, not just consciously, just all across the board. He was tearing into different industries. He had his foot in all different types of things. But, we get 2 albums. He's fresh out of jail. He's fresh out of prison. He gives us All Eyes on Me in February. This is fresh out of prison. He gives us All Eyes on Me, Rap's first double disc. And then he turns around. I mean, he's working on Don the Illuminati, the 7-Day Theory. It gets released after his death. It gets released in November. He dies in September. It was actually supposed to be a mixtape, but he was also working on an album called One Nation. He also has a whole bunch of unreleased material that they end up putting out after his death. We get Better Days, Until the End of Time. All of these recordings are from 96. And the content in these records is Pac completely uncovering the industry. He's just taking the cover off the industry. Hell, the album is called Illuminati. And at this point, no one was talking about the Illuminati. I mean, that wasn't verbiage until really the 2010s when Jay-Z and Kanye West, niggas and all that stuff, But nobody was talking about the Illuminati. And Tupac was talking about Kill Illuminati and all types of stuff back then. So that's why we're saying Kendrick is having a Machiavellian year, or I suppose he's going to have a Machiavellian year, where it seems to be, I'm just putting my prediction out there, he is going to pull the cover off of this pedophilia stuff.
And I think it's another reason why he dropped, his last album, Mr. Morale and the Pursuit of the Big Steppers.
Perfect.
He really laid his own traumas, his own morals. He's just weighing all these things out. He's really putting himself out there for the people. And people said it was a trash album. You could say whatever you want. I think that it was genius just in the way that he can articulate his own thoughts and is just, where his mind is and what he's contemplating and like put it in an art form. It's crazy. So anyway, I go on this spiel to say that he exposed himself. He showed us that he bleeds, right?
Yes.
But now he's like, I threw the first stone in myself, but now I'm ready.
Yeah.
Now I'm prepared. I'm going to throw the stones at, and what's he most, it's about the kids. I mean, what's he doing on the album cover? He's squeezing the babies. I mean, it makes too much sense. There's no way to compare a conspiracy theorist at this point.
Yeah, and that's I'm so glad you touched on that, or else I would have forgot. This is actually my exhortation that I wrote May 21st, 2022, after the Big Steppers dropped. I said, this is Kendrick's expedition out of the culture. Kendrick's big F you to the industry. Kendrick marches away from the masses. It's a self-sabotage album. Tear Down Our Hero album, Kendrick's most genius album. Freeing himself from the matrix, our culture, by tearing himself down by standing next to the unworthy. He caught a lot of flack for standing next to Kodak Black in this. What was the big flack that he caught? Well, Kodak Black has sexual assault cases. Kendrick Lamar in this album is talking about traumatic experiences that we face in our culture that we are too afraid to speak on in our family.
Yep.
And he even has a song called Mother I Sober, which Drake terribly misinterpreted, where Kendrick talks about his own experiences with, sexual abuse and how it's ran through his family and stuff like that. So again, to me, I seen the left jab during the album. Now, I don't want to give myself too much credit, but a lot of people can't see an artist setting themselves up for something else, another step. But I seen it as that's why I read what I put. I seen it as Kendrick writing himself out of our savior box. The savior complex that he created, this whole image that we forced upon him, he wrote himself out of that with Mr. Morale. And I knew by him doing that purposely, we were going to see the pop out Kenny, because Kendrick has an element to him that if you're not studious enough, people just talking to casual fans, they think this man doesn't have hits. They think that this man is fake conscious. They don't understand
that he can't perform. I heard that recently.
They just don't understand that this is still the same man that gave us Good Kid, Mad City. This is still a hit maker. This is still a man from Compton, y'all. He wants to do his Diddy bop. I mean, I shouldn't say Diddy bop, but Kendrick is not above the nigga shit. Let me just cut it to y'all like that. We just ended up, he dropped To Pimp a Butterfly, and we put it on him that he was the next Tupac. And he had to write himself out of that character, is what he essentially did. He wrote himself out of that character and said, nah. And then that's why you get They Not Like Us, and you get these bops and stuff. Also with that, you guys could be wondering the cover art to the live stream here, which is a picture of Kendrick and a random man, Roberto Monticello. I'm not here to really explain it to you guys, but there is a meaning behind this. This guy is well known within the industry, and it looks like Kendrick has been working with him. So again, this is to just verify my suspicions about Kendrick's next album and the narrative in which he's going to go on his next album. Uh, I think it's going to cover a lot to do with not just necessarily pedophilia, but he's going to be pulling off the cover on the industry. Also, with that, I think Kendrick has to be very careful. He is a free man within the industry right now. He has his own label, PG Lang. He has ownership of his stuff now, which is also why I think you see him making these different type of records and doing stuff a little bit more unorthodox than we're used to seeing, and we're seeing Kendrick a little bit more. Well, like I said in my last stream, you big dummies, wouldn't you guys, if you guys know about playing the game, after making millions and millions and millions for these other labels, wouldn't it make sense why he was so reserved and he took time off and he only dropped here and there? Well, he was a man working on freeing himself up. And why would you make all these millions for somebody else when you could get free and now you could pop out? Now you could get on the radio because you're going to get the money from it. You know what I'm saying? Now you could drop double albums. Now you could do performances. Now you could do the pop-out show. Now you could do the Super Bowl. That's all his money. If he did it 5 years ago, Top Dog would have got some. Interscope would have got some. Aftermath would have got some. You know, now this is a free man, so you're going to see a different version of him. So that
we already have. We've gotten, we've never got a Not Like Us before.
No.
This is, and these, like, I don't know. It was just crazy.
We watched them create art on the fly.
Yeah. I mean, with producers, he was grabbing.
Like that was the craziest thing to me. We seen video, like masterpiece videos, a masterpiece pop-out performance, and this is on the fly. Usually these type of high-level artists, they go back in hiding and they have all of it. When they drop these music videos and albums, they already had worked on it for 3 years, wrote it, doctored it, got the producers, like you said. He did all of this just because of a beef on the fly. And we've seen it in real time.
Some of the best diss tracks of all rap history. I mean,
easily. And it was my thing about it was just the flawlessness of his execution during the beef. I mean, we're talking about this beef. It was only a couple week thing.
It was, but it consumed life. It consumed life.
It consumed the whole year. And we watched a man move flawlessly through about 2 or 3 weeks of about a month and a half of a beef. It was about a month and a half, and we watched him move flawless. Not one mistake was had. And then you got the reverse. Drake just kind of shot himself in the foot time and time with lyrics and then just dumb moves, because when you are at a rap beef that big, it's about chest. It's their chest moves that are going on. And, Drake started with the tailor-made freestyle. Well, that got taken down. Tupac's team said, wrong. That was the first mistake he did. Then it was the just countless mistakes. Just countless mistakes. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Kendrick working with Roberto Monticello. Look at the cover art here on this Blackoutstream. Look into what this guy does. We also had the movie last year. Hunter, I wish you were on here. Hunter, if you're watching, please tell me the movie that we were supposed to watch. Your mom went out and watched it. Fuck, what was that movie called? It was about me and you were supposed to watch. Yeah, it was about the trafficking. Yeah. So again, another movie, another thing.
Yeah, we were talking about pedophilia, but this all basically gets into the sex trafficking of the children. Yes. They so much coincide together, and I think that the veil has started to be shown the last couple of years, but it's still so much hidden, and there's just so many distractions. We are like, the bones thrown at us that we take is beyond ignorant. I can't stress this enough. And another point, I'm sorry to cut you off. We were talking chess earlier, right?
Yeah.
Why are we seeing these artists make better chess moves than our politicians? We are seeing these politicians jumping in debate.
That is true.
And scream at each other.
That is true.
And throw fits on camera and run with these false narratives and do all kinds of things. We're looking at the highest people of our country. These are our leaders, right?
Yes.
This is what makes us a nation. And they're moving in such manners. And we're just...
Well, when you get to the point where you are swaying entertainment versus actual, politicians, because that's what this really stems down from. when we introduced Donald Trump to the world as the president of the United States, we opened up another veil. And that was the first time in our country's history. You got Ronald Reagan, who,
It's a little different.
who has had some acting experience and stuff. But Donald Trump was the first real live entertainer to really thumb through politics and make it to the top.
A pimp.
So what we get from that is you just go back and look at Hillary and Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. Go look at those debates and go. I mean, just keep stemming back from George Bush and all of these people.
We stay with Obama for a second. Obama's ability to articulate his words.
No, he was the best.
Plan,
he was the best at that.
This is the direction we're going. Was just like, if you see the debates from I think it was Nixon and Reagan, I believe, we have manners, we have like time, we have to silence the other candidate.
Yeah, we can't do live mics.
We can't even speak back and forth in a polite manner. It was, I watched it live. It was hard. I was really going there. I thought all the petty games would be put down, at least for that hour, 2 hour slot. But again, we just saw so many, fingers pointing. It's that side, this side. The bottom line
is no policies being talked about.
Yeah, no policies being discussed. Just it's the same old. Like, as a normal citizen, I sit somewhere in the middle. I don't claim a party. I actually wasted my vote last voting season.
Don't tell them that.
Well, hey, I'm getting down to it. So, being from this middle standpoint, I need true information. I need you to come off with some real facts. I need to hear, where are you coming from, Kamala? Where are you coming from, Donald? And I just have not seen a whole lot of that. You guys say that Kamala looks more human. I can't agree. I feel like I'm told a lot of things. Like we talked about earlier, I've studied the psychology, the mannerisms of people. If I feel like I'm being fed what I want to hear, that's problematic because I don't want to hear anything. I want the truth.
Yeah,
that's not presented.
And I mentioned this before, and I know you probably pick up on this. Kamala has been reared, and she has been so due diligent. And when you guys see her speak, she speaks with her hands, which tells me she has been given. She's gone to she's done mock trials, she's done mock debates. She's also a prosecutor. I mean, she's a former prosecutor and stuff. So this lady is very suave in how she operates, but watch her debate. And anytime I'm doing it right now, you guys can't see because it's a blackout stream, but I'm speaking with my hands. And that's a form of communication, and that's actually good communication. It's one of the forms of communication you learn, especially in debating and stuff like that. So again, just to kind of close out that point, I wanted to just say that we're in an era now where entertainment has far usurped actual policies and politicians, and both sides know that because they're when you're competing against Trump, you got to come with an entertainment value because this man is entertaining as hell. He is a live wire. And so, what do the politicians do now? They got Meg Thee Stallion twerking on stage. They not like us playing in the background.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
We're
things
talking about
this.
the babies again. We got Meg Thee Stallion up there.
Yeah,
for our presidential candidate. That is insanity.
Horrible.
That is our country in 2024.
And if you fucking dumbass, black, dumbass entertainers don't stop doing this every 4 fucking years, man, y'all are going to hear from me. I'm going to attack, and attack some more. Stop doing it. We see y'all. The jig is up. Y'all do it every 4 years. Y'all go out there, shake a little ass, co-sign a party, get bought and paid for. Stop it. We see y'all. We're done. We didn't ask for y'all's opinions. Yes, I like a little bit of ideas and stuff like that coming from my artists and stuff like that. But let me tell you something. Meg Thee Stallion, Plies, people like you, we didn't ask for y'all's political agendas, and we don't need it because we don't get it. We don't get it in 2025 and 2026. We only get it in 2024, 2028, 2032, every 4 years when it's election time. Stop doing that. We see y'all, and stop being used as props and pawns on the board. Malcolm X, I was getting Malcolm X, who y'all love. Rest in peace. Shalom. Godspeed. We love Malcolm X. But does anybody put into practice what he says? Or do we just love him because he's dead? We do that a lot. We love Kobe Bryant. Or did we love him while he was here? Do we love him because he's dead? Yeah, we have a bad habit of glorifying. Y'all did this with Pac. Y'all did it with Mike. Y'all did it with Mac. We don't listen to people while they're here, which is also why I am here on my page highlighting Kendrick Lamar, because he's still alive right now today, pulling covers off, breaking through things and saying things that need to be said. And I'm not going to be one to give him his roses at a cemetery. It needs to be had today, now.
And it's worth mentioning that if this transpires the way that we foresee it to happen, this man is definitely in danger, or will be
definitely in danger. He's definitely in danger, guys. He's definitely in danger. And also, while we're at it, and we just taking the gloves off.
Oh yeah.
Don't fall for the propaganda. Don't fall. If God forbid, I don't even want to put this out in the universe, because I say shit, I dream shit, and that shit happens. That my word is bond. But God forbid something happens to old Kenny. Guys, they'll frame it as this rap beef. Again, that's what they use with the West Coast, East Coast war. That's why it was easy to whack. You got to think about it. They killed our two biggest rap acts ever. Biggie and Pac are bigger than Drake and Hove and all that. Don't give me the numbers and all. That's all off of their backs. Rap wouldn't even be clear. Pac and Biggie are the two most notorious rap stars. I mean, you got Snoop, but that's for different reasons. We're talking about rap stars. Pac and Biggie. They whacked those two niggas in a year tops. 7 months apart from each other, guys. Whack. That would be like Kendrick and Drake both dropping today. You know how wild that is? But they were able to do it because they turned us in on each other. And they started East Coast, West Coast war. This is what I'm telling you guys what these companies do. Universal.
And it's easy.
It's easy.
They get away with it.
It's the men in the suits, guys. It's the CEOs of these companies that are the danger to Mr. Lamar. That was the danger to Mr. Shakur.
They probably on the list.
They are.
They probably on the. We need to see the list. The gloves are off. We want the fucking.
We want the list. Kendrick also has a song out there. Last topic on Kendrick. Kendrick has a song on there called "On Tip of a Butterfly" called "For Sale." Absolutely genius song. Also, watch the video. It's called "God is Gangster." It's you, and then the second half is "For Sale." Now, in "For Sale," granted, it's pretty obvious in the title, but he's talking about. It's very abstract and very vague, but it's called "For Sale," and he's just making mentions of these contracts and Lucy and this and that. I'm starting to believe, Lucy was illustrated as Lucifer in the album. Lucy was short for Lucifer. I'm starting to believe that Lucy might have been Lucien Grange, the CEO of Universal, this all-powerful entity that just gave Drake his $400 million deal, that is forcing Drake to take all these records. That, the most powerful man in the industry, he owns 40 or 60% of the music industry, guys. And now his son just took a deal with Atlantic. Atlantic just laid off 100 employees, including Clive Davis and other people. Well, they stepped down. That's also because they're getting ready to be on this Diddy reprimandum, this racketeering charge that Diddy's about to come out. They're all a part of it. You heard it here. You didn't hear it here first. I'm sure you heard it somewhere else, but I'm just letting you guys know why all of these CEOs and stuff are stepping down from these companies. Kevin Hart, just shut down. I'm not throwing him in here, but he shut down a whole bunch of his burger shops recently. These guys are clearing up assets, guys, and moving assets around, getting stuff out of their name, because this Diddy thing that's going on is also something to pay attention to. And again, it ties into this sex trafficking ring that's going on. This human trafficking thing keeps coming up. They're not charging Diddy with baby oil. They're not charging Diddy with pedophilia. They're not charging Diddy with bad contracts. They're not charging them with murder. Well, they might charge him with the murder of Tupac, but that's another case that he's fighting. But right now, this actual indictment, this federal indictment that he's charged with, is basically human trafficking, flying women across state lines and having sexual activities and stuff with these women, which is a form of trafficking. Um, we mentioned earlier that Diddy is the first domino to fall in this, but there's so many more dominoes to fall, and usually before before the big six falls, the big domino falls, it's the smaller dominoes that got to tip over before they get to the big dominoes. So
they got to distract us. They got to let it fall.
There
somehow.
you go. There you go. Talk about it. Talk about it.
I'm pondering, man. You said the gloves are off, but I'm still a little. I'm hesitant, man, because we're still. I kind of want to go back to the babies. I know I'm stuck on the babies, but this over sexualization of our children, the unwarranted trauma, it all flows. Are they over sexualized to normalize, to get them adjusted to sense. This? I mean, what percentage? I gotta look this up. What percentage of the foster care system is the sex trafficking industry? That was an unbelievable number the last time I checked.
It's sick, and it's sick that they all of these things tie in. It is very, very, very disgusting that when you really look into a lot of this. I mean, we talk about the Catholic, the Pope. We just read about the Tamar and the Jewish thing, the sacrifice thing, or I don't want to bring that up yet because I don't got the full information and stuff here.
I'll come back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. But I mean, you think about the foster care system and like what basis was this foster care system even? Let me tell you something about America. America is $35 trillion in debt. We're in debt to the Federal Reserve. We keep printing off more and more money each year. Inflation keeps rising each year. The black market is where these politicians and stuff are getting rich. Now, why is sex trafficking and stuff so big? Because you're making money off the black market. These are dollars that are untaxed, unvetted dollars that is not coming through the American economy. And it is the biggest flow of revenue.
Yeah, because you can exploit it to such a degree, so deep in our consciousness. We are sexual creatures in our nature. So you are literally mainstreaming an industry through the black market, untaxed, all that. And then they're throwing in, I got the number right here. In fact, the National Foster Youth Institute recently estimated that 60% of the child sex trafficking victims have been within the foster care. 60%.
That's more than half of half.
That is crazy.
Hold on, let me read it again. In the National Foster Youth Institute recently estimated that 60% of child sex trafficking victims have been within foster care. This isn't sexual abuse. This isn't rape or molestation. This is sex trafficking. So that means they are going in and out of systems and stuff like that. And the foster care is a form of a guise for that. This is also what they charged Diddy with, guys. This is the racketeering charge. Can you pull up the Diddy stuff for me?
Yep.
Pull up the Diddy stuff for me. I got to see his exact charges and stuff. Try to find that for me. But the racketeering charge and stuff is that they are they're assuming that Diddy has used businesses to guys sex trafficking as businesses. And it's really, you got it here.
Yep. The indictment describes Combs as the head of a criminal enterprise that engaged or attempted to engage in sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, drug offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice, just to get it started.
That is absolutely insane.
And he was,
I think
the pinnacle of our industry for.
yes,
That was our entertainer.
yes,
for how long?
He's the Don Dada of the music industry, and I said this months ago. There's two things that my father always taught me. One, son, know where the devil is on the board. If this is a monopoly, you got to know, not necessarily the devil, whatever you guys believe, but you got to know where the pieces are on the board. That's one. But the other thing is be careful about what you accept. Because let me tell y'all something. Diddy was allowed, the takeaway from this, guys, they've been building this case for 8 years, they said. It's been longer, one. But two, they Diddy didn't get away with this. Diddy was allowed. Diddy has been allowed to do these things.
Yeah, because we've known. I mean, it was no secret.
These freak off parties, this sex trafficking stuff like that, he was given that. But let me tell you how this usually works. My last video, we used the cover art of Eyes Wide Shut. I told you guys to go out there and watch Eyes Wide Shut. Rest in peace to Stanley. Genius in his own right. Again, in that movie, it was about power and influence, but it was also about blackmailing. Think about the Epstein thing. Pizzagate. Pizzagate was the same thing. They had pictures of Bill Gates, and they would fly over to these islands, and then they would take pictures of you in your drugged out state. Maybe doing some coercion, doing some activities that you wouldn't have done maybe soberly or you wouldn't be too fond of. But they got video evidence of it. They got hard drives of it. They got pictures of it. So then now they control you. They control. They control politicians. They control influencers. They control entertainers. They control musicians. This is how they keep control. This is what Pizzagate was. This is what Eyes Wide Shut was. Again, back to Diddy. He was the ceiling for the entertainment industry. People went to Diddy. He was the Don Dada. But I'm saying that to say there was somebody above him that gave him that permission over all of us. They said, we got you, but you get them. It's a 10-year contract, Diddy, 15-year contract, 25-year contract. This is what they do. And then you also find out more's going to be coming out in 2026, by the way, guys. Foxy Brown. There's people that have signed NDAs, and that's what you guys also don't realize. When people start coming forth and attaching herself to these, oh, why did she do that? She's just attaching herself, or why didn't she come out before? And then half of the country, the women say, oh, well, she's, it takes more people to come out because they got to be brave and they don't want to come out alone. No, guys. I know I'm sounding like Jaguar White, but let me tell y'all, people sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, and sometimes they're for 7 years. Sometimes they're for 10 years. Sometimes they're for 15 years where you can't speak legally. They make you sign these NDAs. Maybe you were sober, maybe you wasn't. I don't know. But you sign NDAs and you can't speak on certain things for a certain while. Huh?
Foxy.
No, I'm not saying she's involved. She's getting ready to expose some shit.
I know she was sadly involved in the wrong thing.
She's getting ready to expose some shit.
All these females, man, we don't take care of our kids. We don't take care of our women. This has been a problem.
Yeah.
This is a reoccurring problem. History repeats itself.
Diddy, there's no reason for you to have 1,000 bottles of baby oil. But this just got to be the serious podcast. This just got to be the serious episode. I got jokes, guys. I got jokes. I know I got to lighten up the mood. I can't be coming at you guys with the heavy hand all the time. Maybe the next episode we'll do a little
Somebody
bit more
got to
light.
do it.
Yeah, maybe I'll go a little bit more light. But y'all, let me just be honest. A lot of the stuff they're smearing Diddy. Is Diddy guilty of some of these things? I am 100% sure he is. Brother Love. That's what he goes by now.
Brother Love.
Suge Knight said you better not go by that name in prison. he said my advice is you better not go by that name in prison. But I'm just letting you guys know how they do this. They're going to smear Diddy through the media. we as a culture are going to do the work for them. We make it so easy for them to jail Michael Jackson, to jail Tupac Shakur for rape, to jail Diddy, to jail these people. I'm not saying people are innocent and guilty, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly. I'm not saying that. But a lot of these men are victims as well. Yes?
Yeah, I'd say so.
A lot of these men are victims. You think about Usher, you think about you think about Bieber.
Yeah, he was literally raised in. I mean, Diddy. How old was he when he went to Diddy's house?
12. 12. Usher was 11 and 12.
Dude.
And I mean, a lot of these men, and Kendrick mentioned this in I Sober, Mother I Sober. Another left jab he set up. He said, "I see y'all burying y'all's pain in chains and tattoos. Let me expose the secret. Every rapper's been sexually abused." That's the first time we heard that on the record.
They did not want to hear that.
He's setting y'all up. I'm telling y'all, this man's setting y'all up with a left jab. He gonna come through with a hook. I'm telling y'all. I'm good at piecing. I listen to, when I got an artist that I fuck with, I dig through dirt to put a puzzle together, and I'm right 99.9% of the time. But anyways, on Diddy, they're smearing him. The baby oil, the meat, all this stuff, they're smearing him. We're going to turn on him, and that is going to make it easy for his case. It is going to make it easy for them. We're going to attach ourselves to Diddy so hard. What's going to happen, Lane? We're not going to ask for the list.
Yeah, we'll probably get distracted. We'll probably take the bone. We'll take the bone like a little
dog.
Yep. And that'll be the end of it. I mean, I want Bill. They say Bill was on the island. I want to know. They say Hillary was on the. I want to know. I'm so tired of the maybes. The Ellen DeGeneres is still on TV. Like, what? That whole thing was pretty crazy. That was Pizzagate, right?
Yeah.
But all these things, the last couple of years, it has repeatedly come out. Everything in the dark will come to light.
Yeah, release the fucking list.
Release the list, man.
We'll decide who
decides the list will not come out.
Yeah, and we'll decide. I'm tired of y'all holding back the list until it's safe for y'all to release the list.
They're
because
all
y'all
die, and then they'll drop.
Or they're giving them time to move their assets, clean shit up, put shit in other people's names, normalize pedophilia to where we'll get the list in 2032, and by that time, pedophilia will be normal. And then you can't jail nobody. That's what they're doing. I'm not fucking stupid. I'm not stupid. I see right through the wicked ass shit that this government does. I see right through it. There ain't no fucking reason. There ain't no way all of this is coinciding at the same time. We got Vivek on here, and they're talking about 400,000 missing kids, human trafficking. We got artists talking about it. We got movies that dropped about it. We got the P. Diddy thing. We got the Epstein thing. We got R. Kelly thing. All of this shit culminating to a boiling point, guys. A boiling point. Y'all should have been released the list.
The list literally potentially has our last 4 presidents and countless
celebrities.
Oh my gosh.
Entertainers, politicians.
We're talking president. We're talking the highest the representation of our country is being on this list.
And we know that's why y'all don't run and release it. We understand. We get it. We get it from a business side. We get it.
Because then we'll really vote third party. And then
then we'll be a banana republic. We'll be a third world country because we'll see if they release this list like they should do. And shout out to all my good journalists out there. If you're a journalist in today's society, you are digging for the dirt. This is a journalist's dream, guys. This type of information, if you're a true journalist out there, this is a field day for you. But obviously, I don't believe there's no journalist out there that has the power to release the list. However, my point is that they can't release the list because, like he said, we got presidents on it. Well, what happens if they release the list and presidents aren't on it? Well, we indict the presidents. Well, that's third world country shit. We just seen Donald Trump beat 33 felony indictments. I mean, he's a felon right now, but he's not going to jail because America can't afford to have a president sitting in jail. That's just a horrible look on the world stage, guys. That shit that they do in Haiti, that shit that they do in Cuba. We've never had a former president sitting behind bars. So we get.
Well, we should have, but it never happened.
Oh yeah. I'm for it.
Yeah,
I'm for it. I'm for it. I'm just saying I know the game that's being played. Switching gears here, man. Speaking of fucking presidents being on the list and sitting in jail and shit like that. Donald Trump. Donald Trump, man, survived second assassination attempt.
Somewhat assassination attempt.
And there also news as of today is that there might have also been a chemical attack at his last rally. There's, I want to say 1,000. There's a lot of people that went to the hospital and reported signs of chemical burns and stuff like that. A lady went blind or is going blind, and it was the people that sat directly behind him. And then they tested the seats and stuff like that, and there was chemical stuff going on. So
I hadn't heard that. That's wild.
Yeah, that was just as of today. That's been news of today. But what do you think about the assassination attempt that came out news on Sunday, Football Sunday?
On Football Sunday.
That was stupid.
Well, first off, I took this especially personally because me being a golfer, I know this sounds corny or whatever, but being a golfer, a golf course is one of the most peaceful places you can find on this earth. Okay, you are away from the whole world, so I feel violated personally on that. I gotta say it. That's my escape. I can't believe they try to take that man during a golf outing. But I think it is insane that we are truly showing these other countries how we are not bulletproof. I mean, clearly this man has gotten lucky thus far.
Yes.
I mean, very easily we could be sitting in a position where, just like a third world country, somebody running for presidency, running for government was assassinated, and now we are trying to fill that position and just get another nomination up just to run against, Kamala or whoever it would be. We were literally inches away from that. And you can say whatever you want about him. You can say whatever you want about Donald. You can think whatever you want. But to believe that we should be at a point in 2024 where our government officials are almost assassinated, we are the pinnacle of the world, correctly, and our potential president in 50 days is getting shot at on a stage for one, but at a golf course, his personal golf course, that is just insanity. There's no way that somebody can support this.
All right, can your brain reach in the ethos, the atmosphere, and think of? I'm just trying to expound the conversation here a little bit. Is there another angle that you can think of this from? Think of this story.
In terms of this?
Not the specifics of the story, but just the whole idea. Could this be? Okay.
I don't know. I didn't catch nothing.
All right. So if you remember the first one, it boosted Trump's campaign.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was painted as like an American hero at that point. Like,
right.
Fist high,
blood
in the
he
face.
Almost became a shoo-in favorite.
Yeah.
And then Biden ended up stepping down. Then we get Kamala.
I think he stepped down before. Really?
It was after.
Okay.
Then we get Kamala, right?
Okay.
They hid Kamala this whole time. They put Kamala up.
Yep.
And then early last week was the debates.
Yep.
What happened during the debates?
Well, there wasn't a whole lot of progression.
I don't want the details. Who won? That's what I'm getting to.
I would say Kamala probably.
Kamala came out the debates better, right?
Yep.
Okay. So the narrative started to swing a little bit, correct?
Yep. And if you recall, I did say after the first assassination, I think it's Trump's to lose. He would have to talk himself out of it. And I think that debate very well could have, especially the way that he slandered my city.
Okay.
So I want to say that.
That's what came out of this debate, right?
Yep.
He did what?
Yep. He slandered, multiple things. He basically clung on to false rumors on a whim, and it's backfired severely, in my opinion.
So, Lane, I always throw this to you. The Bible says it as well. You like to say that you're one of these kind of thinkers, but they tell us to question what? Question everything.
Yep.
Does this leave you questioning this? Think about it.
I mean, there's a lot of questions here. I mean, I haven't done my due diligence on the gentleman that they're saying did it. There's a whole lot of. I got a little conspiracy brain. Part of my Gemini might be on that side, and then part of me can see that, you know, up front and honestly, this is just a manner that we cannot condone at all, and it's just scary. And I mean, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder a whole lot of things. Who is trying to attack this man? Who is trying to take this man down so
blatantly?
Blatantly. I mean, jeez.
Okay, let me get in here now. There's some of the country that believe. I mean, they believe the first attempt was false, but this one really hasn't gotten picked up. I joked that a lot of that has to do with him. If this was a false agenda, a false operation, he was very dumb to pull it on football Sunday. Let me tell you something. Americans do not care about nothing more than football. Nothing. So this story did not get picked up at all. We all got the notification on Sunday. I remember where I was. I looked at it, said, "Oh my God," shot a few texts to a few people, said that's fucking crazy. Talked to my dad a little bit about it. And then the Cowboys was on. And that was that. Now, granted, the first assassination attempt, they done their best to rid it. There's not been a lot of coverage of it. They've cremated the guy. They haven't done any autopsy. I mean, there's a lot of suspicions going on with that case in and of itself. This one here, this man has lived to tell the story. Mr. Ryan Wesley Ruth. This is out of Florida. He doesn't get a shot off. He gets caught by the Secret Service before he gets a shot off. They shoot at him. He escapes through the bushes. He leaves a GoPro camera in the bushes and something else. He escapes. They're trying to figure out. They're pulling surveillance footages of the surrounding businesses that are participating or trying to help with this case. He hits the I-95, and they find him about 30 miles away. They arrest him, and obviously he's being indicted. He could face up to 20 years in prison. I mean, he didn't get a shot off, but I mean, this, attempt. He was illegally,
Get an AK at a golf course.
Yes, at a golf course with a scope, and he didn't have rights to carry. He already had a criminal possession. He had this man, if we read this, he has a long list of a criminal record. Now they interviewed his son, and his son said it was not his dad. He didn't know this side of his dad, blase. But it just something is fishy on either way. And I know this, I'm not really giving much because I'm gonna go both sides. I'm gonna go both lanes. But I could see this again off the heels of the Kamala debate, the Trump blunder with the Springfield, Ohio comments. This story seems very timely to me. Very timely. Also, it's falling flat. So, even if this was a planned thing, I don't necessarily think it's working. He's not getting the same rallying cry he did get the first time he did it.
This is old news, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, this is outdated, but when was it, Sunday?
This was Sunday.
I mean, that happened this week.
Yeah, it was just a couple of days ago, and people still aren't talking about this failed assassination attempt. So, Trump, if this is your play, Mr. Trump, you got to switch it up.
Tomato.
You got to get shot in the leg. You got to give us the leg. Got to give us the leg. Then you can come out with a cane. You can do a little pimp.
Fake foot.
Come out with a cane. Do the cane. Switch your hat up. But the ear thing, and then now the fake gun with the scope and stuff. We need some more speed. We need something else. This ain't working.
And the ear healed pretty quick.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how that works, but it's a little fishy.
And hey, we're he said 50 days or so away from the election. Early voting is next month, guys. You can early vote in November in Ohio.
Wow.
Hey, Trump, and that's why he's pulling up. He's going to be pulling up in Springfield, Ohio.
I need a word.
He's up 13 points in Ohio right now, projected. But you're losing Ohio, man. You're losing Ohio. You did severe damage in Ohio right now. The whole nation, the whole spotlight of the country is on little old Springfield, Ohio. We are natives of Springfield, Ohio. We live in Springfield, Ohio. I haven't seen no Haitians eating no cats and dogs. Anthony, if you're out there, I said it on the last podcast. You got on that. You did that interview. I thought it was funny, by the way. I thought the interview was really funny when you said you wasn't gonna help another nigga out. That was funny. But you see what happens. The road to hell was paved with good intentions, man. Sometimes he said he just wanted to be Drewski and he just wanted to be Kais and that. But hey, man, you can't sell your people out like that, man. You can't sell your people out. I listen. I say my little fucked up jokes. I say my little jokes. I said my little Haitian jokes. I do my little shit.
He hears about it behind closed doors too.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Yeah. I say what I say. But when I get on these public platforms, guys, and I'm sitting next to, I'm sitting next to, we don't share the same ethnicity. We share a lot of the same beliefs, same foundations and stuff. But when I get on these platforms, I am not to sell my people out. That is my job. So that is my advice to young Aunt Harris, to just be careful and be mindful of what you're saying on these public platforms and stuff. And granted, yeah, I know you want a viral moment. I know you want to get famous. I do too. But it's easy to get out there and shake your ass and make a quick buck. Anybody can do that. But to give people content, give them meat and potatoes and vegetables and broccoli with that sauteed, seasoned, and good that they want to be able to eat. My man Lane told me, we'll leave it anonymous and stuff. There was somebody that was a relative of his that could have got interviewed, but they wanted to make sure that they got correct representation, right?
They wanted to be a credible interview. They wanted to make sure it's going to the right people. There's a lot of sketchiness out here. Everything's taken out of context. Everything is edited, cut, pasted, all that. We are in the age of information, but we are also in the age of we don't trust. Disinformation, the perfect word for it. I have a couple points I got to hit before.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about the pagers.
Oh, man.
I have not got the spiel about the pagers. We have seen new ways of war.
Yep.
That, at least Americans, we are surely ignorant. Mm-hmm. But if you think about it, if a bunch of these iPhones started blowing up, all hell would hit the fan.
They just committed 9 9/11s. There's like 2,000. There's like thousands of people that are fucked up,
affected by this. Yeah, and and it's the same people getting it. We better just end this.
Nah, go ahead. Go ahead. I forgot that I wanted to touch on that.
Yeah,
I'm so glad.
I'll definitely
Let me read this to y'all. Let me put this out there to the world. I shared it today.
Okay.
Give me a second, guys.
I just think that our cushy, comfortable seat here in America.
No, I want you to read this for me.
Oh man. Okay. The whole thing?
Yep.
All right. I sure hope it's still free Gaza. By the way, the U.S. and Israel has went on a weeks-long campaign to convince everyone that Iran is launching a retaliatory attack on Israel. It's been day 4 now, and still no attack. Of course, this was a counter-ops program to convince the American people and the United Nations that Iran is a serious threat, and now claiming Iran has finally come in contact with a nuclear bomb. Pretty similar to when the U.S. convinced the people that Haitians had weapons of mass destruction. Hassan. Yeah. Yep. Weapons of mass destruction in order to invade Iraq, or Gaddafi was a humanitarian threat to the people of Libya. This is all so Israel can continue its march of the Greater Israel plan of max expansion in the Middle East. Totally agree. Complete cleansing of native people of the area, which includes going to war with Iran, wiping them from the map, and having the USA backing. This has been the plan for decades. Just be wary of all this as it all unfolds. You're welcomed. By the way, we haven't heard much about the Palestinians in months now.
That was my post back in August 7th when they were going on a campaign. This was just last month, guys. They went on a whole weeks long campaign on Fox News, MSNBC, CNN that Iran had a nuclear bomb and that Iran was going. Remember, Israel killed Iran's leader. They bombed his house. And then they went on a weeks-long campaign saying that Iran was going to retaliate. Iran was going to retaliate. The ISF was going to, the Islamic nations was going to retaliate. They have not retaliated yet, guys. Not only have they not retaliated, now it is September 19th, and then on September 17th or 16th, a few days ago, Israel explodes pagers.
On civilians. I mean, children, women have died.
They are on the complete offensive, guys. Do not let our media and our Western propaganda continue to lie to us. I got to be honest, guys. I'm just going to call it straight down the middle. If I see wrong on one side, I got to call it straight down the middle. We have not seen Iran retaliate. Yes, Hamas, they're saying it's a criminal organization and a terrorist group, and they still haven't released the hostages. We have over 40,000 Palestinians that lie dead today. Children, women, and children. The Palestinians have nothing to do with Hamas. Hamas is an extremist organization that represents the Palestinians only because Israel has made them. Israel has occupied that state and given them Hamas. The Palestinians don't, this is not a war, by the way, guys. It's not going back and forth. The Palestinians haven't responded. They're dying. They've been told to go to Rafah. They went to Rafah. Y'all bombed Rafah. They're losing people. They don't have any weapons. They don't have an army. They don't have an army.
Yeah, they always say that, the next Hamas, the next ISIS is built in these times, right?
They are.
As the children watch their parents die.
Yeah.
Well, they are trying to complete the genocide to the point of where those children do not have that opportunity to build that negative foundation on Israel. And I mean, I just feel like
Bibi said he has to destroy Hamas and the evil completely, which I agree. And but Hitler had some of the same rhetoric.
A lot of the same rhetoric.
Yeah, I mean, I get the philosophy that when you have an enemy and stuff like that, we talked about the 48 laws of power. We talked about Kendrick destroying. You got to completely annihilate your enemy, or else you risk them coming back stronger.
It's the art of war. I mean, completely. I understand. I get it. But we are talking genocide here.
That's what
we are talking real life
genocide.
Just destroying people.
Cleansing.
Yeah, you are cleansing a land, and then you're just gonna rebuild it and allow these people to hold this ground. And I mean, you can ask whatever, you can say whatever you want. And honestly, I'm gonna drag the Haitians back into this. America so badly wants to be the big brother to everybody.
Yes.
There is no wonder why we have to take people in as we figure these situations out, as we hold everybody's hand. We want to support Israel over there, and we have to ask ourselves why. Because we want to maintain power. It is all America wants to be everybody's big brother.
We're supposed to be the world's
provider. Yeah, because they want ultimate power. We want to be number one. It is all about that.
And we're working on our own Western expansion. Don't let these people talk about Hitler's march towards world domination and global one world globalization and these globalists and stuff like that. Guys. Democracy has been forced upon nations on this earth. Haiti, Cuba, all the Southern American nations. You go up north, further north. You got the Soviets. You got Russia, who's again they're one of the members that are not in a democracy. Well, who are we at war with? Russia, using Ukraine as a proxy. We're backing Ukraine to fight Russia. Well, Russia, you look at Russia don't believe in democracy. Then you got the Middle East people, Iran, Hezbollah. those Islamic nations, they're also not controlled by democratic forces. The rest of the Middle East is. So again, I'm born in America. I know nothing but America, but I just have to call it. I got a brain. I was raised reading. I know how to do a little bit of critical thinking, guys, and I was raised. I learned about propaganda way early on. I got different beliefs. Born into a Islamic family and stuff like that. I was growing up in the. I understand propaganda. I was victimized of propaganda. I hid the fact that I had any relations to do with Islam for a long time because of 9/11. It was a death wish to say that anything to do with Islam in America in the early 2000s, you just didn't even mention it because people thought all types of crazy things about Islam. So I say that to say our agendas a lot is we accuse people for the same agenda we're doing.
Yeah, everything is perspectival. Like all of it, the good and evil concept, it's all perspectival. To Russia, democracy is 100% evil.
Yeah.
To us, communism is
exactly
evil, right? But you also have to understand that, we're talking about the Middle East. These countries you can't shove democracy down a country's throat. They have to evolve to that point. And if they haven't yet, we have to accept that.
Yep.
And we have to, we can help hold the hand, whatever. But to try to shove democracy down the throat of these nations, it has never worked.
No.
And it continues to not work.
And what else we do? That's such a good point, man. That's such an astute point. I'm so glad you brought it up, or else I wouldn't have been able to piggyback off of that. Haiti, for instance, guys. Haiti is one of the poorest nations in the Western Hemisphere. Well, we've occupied Haiti early on, guys. We've bought from Haiti, Louisiana. Some of these southern states, guys, they're actually property of Creole and Haitians and stuff like that. So we like he said, you cannot force democracy onto countries that are not to that point of evolving and accepting that democracy. You have to be at a certain state. I mean, America had lots of backing in its early stages. It had lots of backings, and that's a podcast for a whole nother day. We got to get going. But I mean, wants to say, it's easy to shoot for democracy and say democracy is the way when you have 400 years of free labor, guys. That is not to be minimized. That is not to be not factored in. Yeah. That's 400. We're not even talking about the social political aspect of it and the dehumanization aspect of it. We're just talking about strictly business. When you get 400 years of free labor, not 100, not 50, not 200, 400 years of free labor, people literally building your nation for you and not getting paid, that also takes into effect that does democracy work? Do we know?
That's a tough question because our country been our knees been wobbly for.
We're $35 trillion in debt.
I mean,
ever since really.
Who's to say we have the answer? Who's to truly say we have that answer?
That's the real truth, guys. That's the real truth. We don't even know if our system really works. Since they've abolished slavery and America's been a melting pot.
Man, I have a lot to say.
We have, the deficit has gone. I think there's been one or two presidents that have cut the deficit while they've been in offices. Other than that, it went from 17 trillion to 19 trillion to 26 trillion to 33 trillion. Now we're at $35 trillion in debt, guys. We are soon going to go bankrupt. Our dollar is getting ready to be worthless. That's another thing you need to keep an eye on. Turkey, Russia, Iran, they're all trying to get rid of the dollar. That is why American and Western civilizations are mad, because there's a lot of countries and stuff trying to ditch the dollar. The dollar is losing its value.
And I think we take for granted the impact of that. I think that, these other countries, they are better sustainable when these unexpected obstacles come about. I think, again, in our very cushy couches in America, if the US dollar was to be thrown at the wall, no mas, shit would hit the fan.
Big
and we
time.
would not know how to react.
Big time.
As shit has hit the fan in Ukraine and Russia, these people, they know how to react. They know how to survive. We are not bred for that.
Mm-mm.
The youth is not bred for that.
Mm-mm.
We scroll TikTok. We eat Tide Pods. We, okay, like.
And we throw, and to your point, we throw our dollar at the rest of the world. We throw our wealth.
Yeah.
We throw our dollar. Like, outside of our, like you said, outside of our dollar having value, what do we know? We're not number one in science. We're not number one in mathematics. We're not number one in geometry. Not
education at all. We are not.
No,
we are not.
Agriculture, architecture. That's China. That's those other civilizations. They are number one in these fields.
Mm-hmm.
What do we offer besides mobility, mobilization, army, strengthen our army, and the dollar? We don't offer much else.
And our average citizen doesn't offer much at all.
No.
I mean, we as a typical citizen does not offer much at all. And you go to these other, third world countries and stuff, they have to live to a higher standard. They have to make something happen. We do not know that anymore.
Mm-mm.
If we really had to jump on the backs of our 18 to 26-year-olds and fight a war, we're fucked. It's all right.
And I'm so glad that people are starting to realize that, because for years we were told and we were fed again that lie, and it's just the furthest thing from the truth, guys. We have weapons, and we have high-tech weapons and stuff like that, but I mean Israel does too. I mean,
yeah.
Israel has displayed. Let me just say this real quick. Israel's display this year of technology and high weaponry is stuff of movies, y'all. That dome, when Iran sent off those missiles back in April, those 1,500 ballistic missiles, and Israel's dome came up, and then now the pagers and shit, like, they are out of here.
And that's why Trump's pushing that notion, America needs a dome. We wouldn't need a dome if our technology was as good as they told us it was as we were kids. We were untouchable, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, 9/11 was supposed to be a split-second mistake that never will happen again. And I mean, we just had a president almost die this week. A former president almost died this week.
And the minister told this story that in the height of the Islamic Revolution, Saddam Hussein, he went and seen Saddam Hussein. And Saddam Hussein was speaking to his people. And the minister said that Saddam Hussein said that the West would not win a war. And this was in 85. I mean, the West would not win a war, and that they would win the first week. America will win the first week. But after that, when they would be coming out of the mud, like literally, and like basically America doesn't have the resilience to win a war. And I cannot agree more with those sentiments. America has the technology to last about a week. And if you are able to last in a war, we could not do these dragged out wars like Russia, Ukraine.
No.
America can't do that. We can't do that. We've puffed our chest up and scared everybody enough to even engage in us. But if you can get past America's first week,
punch the bully in the mouth.
If you can get past America's first week, we can't run that marathon. That's just the truth, guys.
Yeah, and I mean, if that technology goes down, like, we don't give a fuck about America. I'm telling you, once you take our comfort away, our TV, our celebrity, our socials, when you take all that shit away, America's going down anyway. We are not gonna sustain. I'm telling you, we are so far up our own ass.
Mm-hmm. And we'll close on this. I mean, the idea of America, the ending of America wouldn't be no other way. Again, it's a melting pot of different, and it's a beautiful idea. The concept of America is a beautiful idea. But the famous quote, "A house divided cannot stand." And when you have a melting pot of different religions, different beliefs, different cultures, different backgrounds, people flying in, you got immigration. Like my buddy Lane said, if shit hits the fan and you got all those 5 different elements, well, you're missing the main ingredient, which is pride for self, pride for land, pride. You know what I'm saying? When you got Israel fighting a war and Hamas fighting Hamas, they really want that land and they really believe that that land is theirs. When you got China in a war against Taiwan, Russia against Ukraine, that's an inherent war. It's a proxy war where it's their people, that's their culture. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that's going to be more unifying and more strong than China fighting against an invading threat, trying to take over China territory. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because those are Chinese people there.
Mm-hmm.
In America, we would turn in on ourselves because we all don't believe the same. It's just that simple.
I mean, we were raised so fraudulently. I mean, I just truly believe that America's education, pharmaceutical, food, fitness, psychology, everything in America is pretty damn watered down. And I don't know. Like, I don't think we're bred for our future at all. Like, I don't think we are like built to succeed in the future at all. We are strictly here to be cows consuming shit, basically. That is our youth, and that is the problem with the youth. And that is why I so fondly and I just so deeply burn to help our youth. That I truly believe that's my life calling. That is why I'm here, and that's why I build my business and I work on it at break at work, random stuff like that, because I truly believe our youth is in trouble. Is truly in trouble.
And well, what a way to circle back to the children. Kanye says the children is the future. So I just kind of want to leave on that note, man. Thank you guys for tapping in. The couple people that still left in the chat, shout out to you guys. It was a pleasure. I got my man Lane here.
It was a pleasure coming on here. I greatly appreciate the opportunity. Let me speak my words, man. I'm a pretty emotional guy. Hope y'all can see it on there.
Yeah. I mean, more is to be had. He has more content coming down the pipeline. Also, he'll be on this channel a lot more too. I'll do some more.
My official invite back.
Of course. We're going to garner more and more attention. More and more of these conversations need to be had. It's just basically bringing a lot of what we talk about off the mic onto the mic and letting the world, kind of sit in the living room with us and chit chat. You guys can drop comments in the chat or so forth. Again, shout out to the people that were in the chat tonight. Please like and subscribe to the channel. This is the Nodos page. I also want to send a shout out to the Homie Review. Go follow his page over there. He does movie reviews, show reviews. He's getting ready to start reviewing books. A lot more content coming out of there. Shout out to Shane. Shout out to all the know-it-alls out there. This is Lord of Lip signing out. Peace.
Springfield.